Actually, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of tea behind the scenes, spoilers, don't tell anyone. Hello everyone, welcome once again to my channel. It's your boy Luis Portelles, and for today's video we have a very special one because for the very first time on this channel we're actually gonna be talking about male pageantry. And the reason why I'm getting into this type of pageantry today is because, as some of you might know, yours truly is actually one of the judges for Miss and Mr. Supra Chat. So because of that, I've been keeping a close eyes on both the female and male candidates, and I've been trying to the best of my ability to always score them fairly. And because of that, I made a video about the girls and my first leaderboard ahead of the competition, so I told myself, why not make a leaderboard for the boys ahead of the competition as well? And so here we are. Now let me tell you something, okay? I'm gonna try as much as possible to keep this video professional, because you know that your boy is a little bit thirsty sometimes, a little bit maharot. But today there will be none of that. We are professionals, okay? Allegedly. And also, I'm going to tell you, this is not my final prediction for Mister Supranational. Actually, I'm going to present to you 15 candidates that are standing out for me. To be honest, there's a lot of candidates with a lot of potential this year, and it's hard to make a final decision at this stage in the competition. So keep that in mind. There will be a new leaderboard for both Miss Supranational and Mister Supranational in the upcoming days. Now, if you enjoyed this type of videos and if you find some sort of value in it, don't forget to leave a like so that it gets recommended to more people. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one almost every single day. And last but not least, let me know in the comment section, what do you think about my comments, my feedback, and my ranking overall. So without further ado, my friends, I will see you with my topics right after the intro. Be strong. So let's get right into it. Number 15 on my list is Mr. Thailand. I know that a lot of you guys might be surprised because I know that Thailand is quite the fan favorite. Well, in my opinion, I'm still waiting a little bit more to learn more about Thailand, learn more about his personality and what he has to offer in terms of the competition per se. I think that one of the highlights for him is really his personality. I remember when I was judging him during Supra Chat, one of the things that came to mind was that compared to the other boys, he really has a personality that is very youthful, that is very out there, and he has almost like no filter. So I think that in a way it's very refreshing. However, we still have to wait and see what is it precisely that the organization is looking for. Are they looking more for this type of person who is able to connect with the youth and bring perhaps a younger audience, or are they looking more the traditional type of Mister that Mr. Supranational will normally crown? Well, I guess I will have to see, but so far Thailand is very promising, and my guess, my prediction is that for upcoming picks, he might be going up. Moving on to number 14, we have Mr. Italy. And actually, I really love Giuseppe. I had him the other day on my Instagram for an interview, and it was really amazing. I really have to give props to Giuseppe because I feel like out of all of the boys, the candidates, he's one that has been putting a lot of work, and it really shows. Even before Mr. Supranational started, even before I was named as one of the judges for Supra Chat, I was already familiar with Giuseppe because he has been doing interviews for the longest time. So he has been campaigning a lot for this. He has a very likable personality. He's a very warm person, very welcoming. So I really like that about him. And I like that he's not the stereotypical, Mister, that sometimes there's this little cold, this little distance. There's nothing like that with him. Also, he is the very first openly gay candidate for Mister Supranational, which for me is mind-blowing because I know a few that are gay. But the difference here is that he is openly gay, all right? So I think that that's already amazing representation. I love what he's doing, and I'm excited for him. Once again, I feel like he is one of the candidates that I'm being conservative with because going forward, I'm expecting him to place much higher. At number 13 on my list, we have Philippines. And the reason why I have given him this spot is because I think that when it comes to the looks, Philippines has really been delivering. We know that the Philippines has a lot of supports in terms of designers and the clothes that they bring. So he's really going to be able to deliver in the show side of it. Now, the only reason why he's not higher on the list is actually because so far Philippines comes across as being a little shy. In my opinion, he's not much of an extrovert, and sometimes when he is in the group with other people, he might get a little bit overshadowed by some of the other boys. But I think that if he manages to come out of his shell and really allow his personality to shine, he's really gonna have the best of both worlds and could go a lot further in the competition. So we'll see what happens, but as usual, Philippines, we are rooting for you. Child, let me drink some water. Number 12 on the list, we have Puerto Rico, and oh my god, you guys, he's so beautiful. I mean, there is really no flaw in this man. I looked closely, I zoomed a lot, and I found none. So I'm going to say that Puerto Rico is definitely one of my favorite candidates in terms of the looks. I think that he still needs to work a little bit more on the communication skills, on the delivery, and just being a little bit more, you know, straight to the point whenever he's trying to communicate something. That was one of the things that I felt a little bit down during his Supra Chat. However, I think that if he's able to not overthink it and just give a good performance and, you know, straight to the point answers, he might perform really, really well as, in the upcoming days of the competition. So let's wait and see what's gonna happen. All right, number 11 on the list, we have Czech Republic. I know that Czech Republic is another one of the candidates that is really, really hyped. And you know what, I'm just gonna say it, I feel like a lot of the candidates are really, really hyped this year. In a way, I feel like Mister Supranational really leveled up since last year in the way that people are paying more attention, people are really rooting more for the male candidates. And I feel like Czech Republic is one of those candidates who is getting a lot of attention. Mr. Czech Republic really fits the archetype that usually will do very, very well during Mister Supranational. He's a very good communicator, very effective. He is very straight to the point as well, so it's very clear. However, the only thing that I'm missing from him is a little bit of that warmth that maybe Mr. Italy will give me normally. So I would like to see him be a little bit more approachable, but in terms of looks and in terms of communication, I have really no feedback to provide. He is incredible. Now moving on to number 10, we have Venezuela. And as we know, the candidate who is now representing Venezuela was actually the first runner-up during his national competition. However, the winner wasn't able to make it and the first runner-up took his position. You know what? I actually think that Mr. Venezuela is gonna do a great job. I like the way that he is being styled, you know. He's giving me like old Hollywood glamour, very classic type of vibes for the man, even with the haircut, with the grooming, just the way that he presents himself. Even I noticed on some of the videos that he has very good communication skills as well, very clear, you know, and he also has like a very standard accent, so when he speaks, he is very, very easy to understand. Some of these speaks will really depend on what the organization is looking for, what type of guy they want for this year, and the type of sponsors that they will have for the year. But Venezuela definitely is bringing the quality. We all remember last year William Bedell, who was exceptional, in my opinion, one of my favorite misters of all time. But this year Venezuela is promising as well. Now moving to number 9, we have Spain, and I know that there's been a lot of conversation about Spain. I've seen a lot of people putting him within the top 5 already, so this guy right here has a lot of potential. And personally, I would even put him within my top 5 if it wasn't for one thing that I'm still waiting for him to prove me a little bit more. Something that I remember from his Supra Chat presentation was that he mentioned that the only reason why he joined the pageant is because the people of the organization in his country were really, really like almost like chasing him, like, come on, do it, join it, do it. So I think that to a certain extent, I'm still waiting for him to prove me that he really wants this. If he does, I think that he could definitely crack the top 5 because he is a very good communicator. He has amazing, amazing looks. I don't know if you guys have seen his photos. Please go on Instagram and check him out. But the guy is very, very promising. And also, just like I said when I made my topics for La Lela, I think it's time as well for Mister Supranational to give more visibility, not just for people of color, but also for other ethnic groups. So I'm really excited for him if he's able to, you know, just be a little bit more convincing when it comes to how badly he wants it. All right, now let's get into my number 8, and that goes to Vietnam. Vietnam this year is really not playing. The candidate that they sent for Miss Supranational is incredible. Ji Kim is stunning, and this time around the candidate that they're sending for Mr. Supranational is also no exception. When I made my topics for his particular group during Supra Chat, he was one of my favorites. I feel like the way that he expresses himself, you know, he has substance, he is very approachable, he has a very calm aura, which for me, I personally really like in a man that is able to reassure everyone around him and just give them, you know, peace of mind. it's always a plus on my book. And so far, I'm also getting a real brotherhood vibe from him. I've seen him bond with the other boys in social media, photos that have been shared, and even in the photo shoots with the sponsors, he has been really active and delivering quality looks. Now let's move on to number 7 on the list. We have Poland. I mean, this is the candidate who is representing the host country, and traditionally they do very well. However, to his defense, I'm going to say that Poland this year is really one of the most beautiful, likable, smart men in the competition as well. So that's a lot of strengths right there. I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to crack the top 5. And after that, we know that it really depends on how they perform during the Q&A. He is giving me very masculine vibes, and I know that usually, and I do specify usually, tends to do very well during Mister Supranational, because as I said, I feel like the pageant itself is reinventing itself to be more inclusive, be more visible in terms of diversity. And I think deep down that this year they're going to crown someone with a little bit more substance than just the looks. So let's wait and see what is going to happen, but Poland is definitely a threat. Keep an eye on him. All right, number 6 on the list, we have Malta. For me, I think that something that really sold me in terms of Malta is just his charisma. He is very smart, he has that little charm, and for me that's very attractive in a man. When you look at him physically speaking, he is not necessarily the guy with the biggest muscles or the most fit body. However, he does check all of those categories. He is definitely physically and facially very beautiful. I remember particularly his Supra Chat, one of my favorites. Lots of substance, very interesting answers, and I think that he was also very conversational, which for me is very important because you need to be engaging. You know, when you're giving a title, you're gonna be interacting with more people. I know that the fans always look a lot at like the physical aspect, but let's be honest, if you win a title, how many times are you going to be shirtless after the win? Very few times, unless you're taking like photos for a sponsor or doing some activities that require for you to take off your shirt. You know, the physical aspect is not really that important. Think of Varro. I mean, Varro is like stunning, but how many times have you seen Varro shirtless since he won? Not so many, unfortunately. And that's the same logic for me. Putting Malta at number 6, I feel like he definitely excels in all aspects. And even with the physical aspect, although he is not the biggest, buffiest, and whatever guy of the competition, he is still bringing his A game. Okay, now things are gonna get interesting. We're getting into the top 5 of the competition. Let me sip some coffee. And moisturize my lips. But in the meantime, just a little reminder, let me know in the comment section if you guys agree with my comments so far and my picks. I'm really interested because, as I said, I really want to make sure that this is an engaging conversation, an interactive experience. So I want to know your opinions as well. Now, at number 5 on the list, we have Belgium. Oh my God, what a stunning man. What a stunning, beautiful. Well, let me calm down. I think that Belgium, this guy right here, has definitely the perfect balance of everything that I personally look for in a beauty king, in a male king, in a, you get what I'm trying to say, right? Beautiful face, beautiful body, intelligent, approachable, likable, relatable, smart. I remember his Supra Chat conversation was personally one of the most interesting ones that I was, you know, evaluating. Because keep in mind that when you are part of like the Supra Chat judging panel, you really have to give everyone an equal chance. So you have to listen and pay attention to what they're saying. And for me, he was definitely one that was able to grab my attention and hold it all throughout his segment for Supra Chat. I think that that's very revealing about his potential, that he is not only relying on the looks, but also there is a lot of substance. And personally, this is precisely the type of person that I would like to see win the title. At number 4 on the list, we have none other than Mr. Indonesia. Actually, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of tea behind the scenes, spoilers, don't tell anyone. Indonesia was my number 1 pick for Supra Chat for his particular group, so for his episode when this was initially released. Very similar to the example of Mr. Belgium, I feel like Indonesia is also bringing in the perfect balance. Looks, intelligence, relatability, likability, and all of those things. And of course, as we get closer to number 1, you're going to hear a lot of those things repeat themselves, because I feel like that's necessarily what the ideal candidate needs to have, you know? They need to be consistent all across the board, and Indonesia is delivering that. For me personally, of course, I'm a fan of his looks, I'm a fan of his personality and charisma, but I'm a super fan of his intellect. The way that he explained everything and the way that he answered the questions during Supra Chat was just very convincing, came across as being very honest, and it came across as not being extremely forced. You know how sometimes certain answers can seem a little bit rehearsed or like pageant patty or like the stereotypical pageant answer. This is not what we're getting here. We are dealing with a guy who is able to hold the conversation, and I personally love that. So I'm excited for Indonesia. Let's see what he's able to do finally. Now at number 3 we have Mexico. I know that a lot of people are rooting for Mexico, and a lot of people, I've seen them place Mexico at number 1. Well, I do agree that Mexico has the potential to make it and win the entire pageant. For anyone that I'm actually putting within my top 5, it's really up to them to perform well during Q&A, and after that get the title. But Mexico, I'm really charmed by his looks. I think that he is able to give us that perfect blend of like very fierce, like macho look, like masculine looks, but at the same time he is able to give us some looks that are a little bit more delicate, a little bit more subtle. I appreciate that, the versatility, no pun intended. I also really like his facial beauty. I think that his face is so symmetrical, and his body, obviously he has been working on his body for quite some time. I don't think that he's necessarily the most fit one during the competition. However, his physical condition is just perfect in my opinion. You know, you don't want to overdo it sometimes. You want to have a physique that is realistic and that is also something that you can maintain. You know, sometimes we have these people who are like extremely muscle, and because of that they need to spend their entire life at the gym. Like, that's not what we want. We want a mister who will be able to deliver, you know, in different spheres, who will be able to be engaged with the community in social media, sponsors, and do a lot of things. And because of that, you cannot be at the gyms always, okay? So Mexico is a very strong contender. So boys, you better watch out. At number 2, we have Peru. You know, I'm always skeptical about back-to-back wins. I think that they are pretty rare, and that's one of the reasons why I put Peru at number 2. Because if I'm being honest, I was actually going back and forth between my number 1 and number 2. But you know, number 2, I feel like it's good enough for him to be able to snatch that title if he really works hard. But Peru, I won't repeat myself too much. Beautiful, smart, charismatic, approachable. All of those things, all right? I also really like that he seems to be really laser focused in obtaining the title. He is bonding with the boys. He is, you know, really going above and beyond on social media. His Supra Chat presentation was amazing as well. And I think that this might be the result of him having a very supportive organization, since Varo won the title last year. So therefore, you know, he's getting help from the same team that probably helped Varo obtain the title. So I'm not surprised to see him do well. But do you guys think that it's possible this year to have a back-to-back win for Peru? I don't know, but personally, he's definitely one of my favorites. All right, and finally, my number 1 pick for this entire list goes to Luis Portelles representing Cuba. Shut up! Okay, everyone, let's get serious right here. My number 1 pick goes to Argentina. Actually, I think that this guy right here, stunner. The looks, beyond. He definitely has the model prototype that we know that, I mean, I feel like the stereotype when it comes to Supranational is that they always go for model type of candidates, you know? And as I said, I feel like this year we have a little bit of a reinvention. I feel like Supranational will go for more of a someone who is able to, yes, deliver on the looks, but also who will have the communication skills. And I think that this guy has just the perfect balance of all of those things. I've been really following him closely on social media as well, and every single photo is just better than the previous one, so it just keeps on getting better and better. I've seen a lot of hype around him as well, and you know, let's be realistic as well. The pageants want to work with people who are who have a strong following, people who will be able to bring sponsors, who will be able to bring viewers, who will be able to make the pageant relevant precisely. And I think that this might be the perfect year for Argentina. This will be another year that the crown will be going back to Latin America. So that would also be good for Mr. Supranational to consolidate that fan base in Latin America. And are you guys really gonna tell me that when he was speaking during Supra Chat, you were not in awe with your mouth wide open like... I know I was, but in a professional way, of course, because I was judging. As I said you guys earlier, this is only my first leaderboard for Mr. Supranational because I feel like we still have way too many things and activities to happen that will be very impactful in the way that this list will unfold finally. So stay tuned for my final video when it comes to this. Please let me know about your opinion when it comes to Mr. Supranational so far, your hopes and expectations, what you're rooting for, everything. Leave it down in the comment section. While you're at it, don't forget to leave a like on these videos so that it gets recommended to more people. And of course, subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one almost every single day. Last but not least, come here and give me a hug. That's a little tradition on the channel. You know that I love you, that I appreciate you. Thank you for coming and spending a few moments out of your day here with me. And until I see you next time, please stay safe, be kind to one another, sending you all my love, all my kisses. And I'll see you on the next one.